to Prelaw 101. I don't know if HillmanTok is still a thing, but I'm going to see this through. This is week 7 of our course, and we are working through the different areas of law and just how that ties into some of the first year foundational courses that you take. So, for example, one of the first classes you take in law school is civil procedure. Civil procedure walks you through pretty much where do I file this lawsuit? Is it federal court or state court? What type of issues are heard in these two types of courts? And mostly, if you are a civil attorney, that's something that you're gonna answer that question like this. Like, you're gonna know exactly where to file, like what circuit court or whatever the case may be. And so I urge you, when you are in law school and you're in these big topic classes like civil procedure, I would urge you to raise your hand and ask your professor. So here in my state, like if this was the issue, what court here would I file this in? Have them do that. Put them professors to work, okay? And the next thing, criminal law. So if you want to be a criminal defense attorney or a prosecutor, this is where this, stems from. One, prosecutors are the ones that are bringing a case against a person on behalf of the state, okay? So pretty much you've committed a crime, robbery, let's just go with that. The prosecutor is the one that's going, you're arrested. The cop is going to provide some probable cause affidavit. The prosecutor is going to get it, and they're going to be like, okay, yep, we're going to bring charges against this person. We know we have more evidence than not probably that they probably did do it. Still got to prove that in court, but that is really what that class leads you towards. Or if you're on the defense side, a person comes to you, hey, I've been charged with robbery. Can you represent me in court? Are you able to literally advocate for me to, one, get off or get a smaller punishment for what I did? Okay. The other side of law that you can go into teaching law, right? What does that look like? That looks like, one, you need to master some sort of topic, write about the topic, research about the topic, so that you can be able to teach people about the topic. That's the general route that you can go towards. If you want to do business, big corporation, what does that look like? So the class that you're going to really get those like core skills from is going to be contracts. Contracts is where you're looking at, okay, do we have an agreement? Is it legitimate? What are the terms of those agreements? Where are there holes that I can advocate for my client? Okay. So with, corporate law, most of it is you are trying to write big contracts. You're trying to make sure this company and this company come together to do a service for one another. And that is what it is. Or you're buying another company, right? What are the rights that I'm getting from this company that I'm purchasing? Are they giving me everything, or are they keeping some of it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like? That's mergers and acquisitions. Okay. That's big corporate law. And of course you can do white collar crime that goes into criminal law, but you do have to also know a little bit about corporations and things and how they work so that you can know how people are fraudulent within them. Let's see, torts. Torts is pretty much personal injury law is what that leads to. Personal injury lawyers are going to be representing people who slip and falls, car accidents, truck accidents, things like that. And then lastly, evidence. Evidence is a big class. Evidence is not taught your first year, but it is a very important class that is going to teach you how to present evidence in court. What are the rules of that? What does that look like? Okay. Family law. Family law is also a niche area that you can go into. Family law consists generally of divorces, adoptions, some estate work, even though there's a separate sub-branch called trusts in estates, are classes that you will likely take in law school to handle that, or about wills and things like that. But a lot of firms will offer that in their family law, under the family law branch, because as a family member, you're leaving something for somebody behind you, or whatever the case may be. Tax law, that is self-explanatory. You are going to be interpreting the tax code, okay? You are going to be making sure, if somebody comes to you, they're being audited, can you make sure they're good? If you're working at a big firm, you may be doing taxes for big corporations, right? Making sure that they're staying on top of all the things, they're paying their taxes, they're not being fraudulent, wink, wink, because most of them do be, but whatever. I am not a tax attorney. And then there's sports, entertainment, copyright, intellectual property law. Those two sometimes tie into each other. Other types of law that you can get into is, especially in the intellectual property mind or realm, is fashion. There are a lot of trademark cases in the fashion realm that I think are so fascinating, about people making dupes, what that looks like, people reselling without getting permission to do that from the companies. Look, I think is really juicy. You could also go into employment law. Employment is more so federal, right? It's going to be looking at what protections you have federally, against your employer and vice versa. You go into immigration law. Immigration is so big right now. That is also a very niche area that is under the federal law. What protections do people have when they come into this country? How to make sure they are protected, things of that nature. And lastly, there are jobs that have nothing to do with being a lawyer that you can do well in as a lawyer, like writing, content creating. I know there was like discourse about whether lawyers who work at a traditional like law place should be content creating. I don't see why not, right? But yeah, guys, there's so much in this profession. You could go into politics with a law degree, like we know that. But I just want to use this platform to really, like, if there's an urge in you to go to law school, to work in any legal job, whatever that may be, please follow that. Please apply. We need you. There's space for you. There are people here wanting to support you. Okay. Thank you for joining class today.